The Anglican Church of the Resurrection, Duboyi, Abuja, for the second time held a service of hymnology, a service centered on hymn singing. Burdens were lifted to the throne of grace. Here are the details of the story. If you are conversant with the Anglican Church, you will know that the Anglican Church is known for hymn singing. And for this service, it is actually a service to reckon with in the Anglican Church, as Christians gathered together at the Anglican Church of the Resurrection, Duboyi, in Abuja, to celebrate the second edition of Hymnodia, despite the issues posed by the pandemic ravaging the whole world. The service recorded different hymns with their stories selected under the direction of the Holy Spirit to help encourage Christians, especially in good and bad times. Members were charged after singing the hymns to always trust in God no matter what situation they find themselves, whether good or bad, bearing in mind that the efforts of man without God is in vain.
God, man is in perpetual bondage. If God is not in your life, if God is not the one dictating your pace, if God is not the one controlling your life, man is in perpetual bondage. Without God, man will continue to struggle. Man will continue to struggle. No expiry date. But if God is there, the struggle is just for a while.
Some members of the church after the service shared with us how encouraged they were from such a service.
For me, and I know for a lot of Anglicans, hymns are like the soul of the church. And when you have a service like this where it's all centered around hymn singing, you're sure that it's not just physically attending church services. It's also about going deep to touch the soul. And that worked for me today, because apart from being a part of the service and a part of the choir, I was really touched.
I was really touched by all the stories behind the hymns. Personally, I love singing, and if you look through the hymns in the service today, they point us to God, trusting in God, holding on to God at all times.
I was blessed for me adding one more year. I'm happy to have a family like this.
Also, the Vicar Venerable Oluwaseun Oweye took time to share with us what inspired such service.
We discovered that hymn singing is fading away in our church, and sometimes when we sing, we just sing it carelessly and casually. But if you know the inspiration behind some of these hymns, we will take it serious. And that is what informed our decision since last year. We started having the story behind the hymns. This is the second edition. The last year own was the first, and this is the second edition. We write the story behind hymns and sing some hymns. Actually, they are familiar hymns, but we need to know what informed the composers of this hymn and the circumstances they were passing through before these hymns were composed. And that's why we decided to be bringing up, so that we will have the mind of knowing the stories behind some of these hymns.